All right, let's go. What's good? What's good? What's good? You are to Apartment 5B podcast hosted by your man Kill. I got my squad with me in effect today. First time on the show. She chopped it up with me and Yao on the Off the Top podcast. First time with Apartment 5B. Tosh, what's going on, miss?
You know I'm outside. Regular shit. I'm actually in the Bronx right now in my childhood bedroom. So I'm giving y'all all my authentic experience.
There you go. There you go. Right there. That's exactly what we need to hear. My man Penny. What's going on, Penny? My brother. What's good, brother?
What up, everybody? Good to be here.
No doubt, no doubt. Good to have you. Yao G's, one of the dopest, nicest MCs that I know walking the planet Earth. And I'm not just saying that because you're my man. It's actual facts. I don't even do that. So, Yao G's, what's going on, good brother? Representing that Another Lane premier spot for all kicks.
All I
Right
do
there.
is promote my people, you know what I'm saying? Another lane.
Shout out to Chad and Dina all day. Shout out to them. Nothing but love for them.
Facts. They made me a model.
I was just about to say, Tosh, I see you on your modeling tip now in the park. What's good with that? Where did that happen from?
Shout out to Yao. Shout out to Yao for the plug. We did that at the Rucker.
Dope. Very dope. My man Eddie, my brother Eddie from Brooklyn in LA. What's going on, good brother?
Yo, I'm good. I'm not in my childhood bedroom, but I'm in my child's bedroom.
There you go, man. There you go. Now, here's the wild part, and I just realized this. I think it's when I get a lot of New Yorkers around me. You're from Brooklyn, but you're a Mets fan.
Yeah.
I'm a Mets fan too, Eddie. I love you. And I'm from the Bronx.
You're from the Bronx. How does that happen?
That's crazy. I mean, you know what it is though, and I could guess it's, depending how old you are, like the Mets were popping like the early to mid 80s. So like 86 we won the chip, right? And the Yankees were bad back then.
Sucked.
You know what I mean?
No,
and we had Doc Gooden, we had Darryl Strawberry, Howard Johnson, all them, Keith Hernandez.
Do y'all see why I always say with Apartment 5B, I like keeping smart people around me?
Gotcha.
You see this knowledge that's being dropped? Because I don't keep up with baseball. I ain't going to hold y'all. So I had no idea that there was a time when the Mets was more popping than the Yankees because you let the narrative as the Yankees been the shit since day one. So, but since we're talking about the Yankees, we are today saluting, to me, the most important borough ever in New York City, the Bronx, the BX, everything the Bronx. That's why Tasha's chopping it up with us. She's going to be our tour guide for the day through the Bronx. We're talking our top 5 MCs, top 5 albums, producers, slept on MCs. And there's some questions I have about the Bronx that I don't know the answers to. And I'm hoping with this brain trust I have right there, we can figure out what kind of went on. But the first thing, here's the wild part about the Bronx to me. As you brought up a good point about age. Because when I was talking to one of my young boys, he was like, yo, how's the Bronx the most important borough? And I'm like, nigga, hip hop was born here. You know what I mean? Like, we could just start and stop with that right there. That to me is, I don't care if no other MC ever came out the Bronx.
That's the answer.
That's it. Like, there's nothing without the Bronx.
We don't have Common without Melly Mel. We don't have none of this shit without the Bronx. Like, it's
exactly. You know what I mean? But I understood his point because post 90, the Bronx was quiet.
It's like the Mets. It's literally like the Mets.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like and I got to figure out why. That's one of the things we're gonna try and figure out. But tell me this. Tosh, you're from the Bronx. When did you realize you're from the birthplace of hip hop? Like, when did that come together? What age did that hit for you? When did you realize? I
don't think I ever not knew because I grew up in the video music box era. So like we ran home from school to go watch video music box. Like the same people that I could see rapping on like the basketball courts at the tournaments. My father was a ball player. Like my whole family's ball players. So I was at every tournament all the time. So the same people I would see rapping at the game, I would see getting interviewed, or I see they little show, whatever, on video music box. I don't think I ever not knew. I think, as I got older and learned more about music, I had just a better understanding of just how pivotal their role was. But I don't think I ever existed in a space where I didn't know that but for the Bronx, this rap shit wouldn't be going on.
Right. That's dope. That's dope.
Heard it.
Pause. I feel you. For me, the first time I put the two things together was Curtis Blow's 12-inch AJ Scratch. And he sets it off. And we always talk about how an MC sets his rhymes off. And Curtis starts it off with "Up in the Bronx where the people are fresh." That's all I had to hear. You know what I mean? There was one DJ that had to pass the test. He's down by law. Now he's ready to play. That's right. Charles' name is AJ. You know what I mean? And so for me, and this had to be 83. I'm 9. I'm a shorty. You know what I mean? But the whole premise was, yo, I want to be fresh. Where the people fresh at? In the Bronx. You know, so it's for me, it was up in the Bronx where the people are fresh. Like, that's the first time it connected. To me, it kind of was solidified a little bit more with Beat Street, you know, which is one of my top 5 favorite movies ever. Like, not just any genre ever is Beat Street. I love that movie. I probably watched that movie more than I watched any film ever in the history of my life.
I'm ashamed to say that I probably like rapping a little more than I like Beat Street because rapping is high key trash. But it's high key trash. But I fuck with it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I do fuck with it. I think it's because I watched it so much with my little sister at the time because she was really into it, and then it just became a thing for me. But only like a smidget. Only like a smidget. Nobody shoot me into like that much.
Right. But I mean, for me, Beat Street was like, that was it. I wanted to be Lee. By now it's 84. I'm 10 years old. I wanted to be Lee. I wanted to grow sideburns like Lee. Everything I wanted to do, I wanted to be Lee. And that part where they find the boy in the basement, he's like, yo, I came to New York. And they like, this ain't New York City. This the Bronx.
This the Bronx.
You know what I mean? And it was like, that was it. And then the third, the icing on the cake, BDP South Bronx. I mean, that was just it, right? Like, that was the eclipse of when you knew the Bronx was the shit right there. It was with BDP South Bronx. I spent every summer in Brooklyn, and I'm in Brooklyn screaming the South Bronx like I was in the
You're
South
a good
Bronx.
man. A good man.
Hey, just that's my thing. Penny, what
my
about
mom
you?
is from Brooklyn. She doesn't
Oh,
claim
word?
Yeah, but if you ask her,
She's from the Bronx?
Yeah, she tell you, but she not. She from Brownsville. She hood.
Shazo?
Yeah.
This
from Brownsville.
This now is making
It makes sense, right?
It's making a lot of sense.
It's a whole nother Brownsville ain't even Brooklyn. Like, you know how we just said the New York Bronx, like, Brownsville ain't even Brooklyn. Like, that's a mentality and a planet all to itself. Like,
but Kill, if you ever met, and I hope you get the chance to meet the great Shazo, who is Tasha's mom, bruh. When hearing this right now, I'm actually getting chills. So I can't wait till my wife wakes up to tell her. Like, no.
It all makes sense. It all makes sense.
It's like I said, it's a whole nother mentality. Mike Tyson, MOP, it's a whole nother world over there. It don't even.
That is her.
Here's the wild thing. We gotta get back on topic, but the wild thing about Brownsville, MOP is the only hip hop group to never be dissed by anybody.
Nobody.
I wonder why.
There's a reason.
They were on Rockefeller. They was down with They've been down with so many. They was down with G Unit. Nobody. You have never heard a human being think about saying something bad about
20 shots.
Because first of all, they're dead nice. They will smoke you it will smoke you. And once you add the Brownsville component of it, as far as who they're linked up with, like you just don't want to. That's like Charles Barkley be saying. Some people you just don't want to fuck with. Like them over there. Let them be over there. You know what I mean? Right. And just be nice, be cordial when you see them.
Yeah. So that's MOP Brownsville. Penny, what about you? When did you put 2 and 2 together with the Bronx? Now you're from LA. You live in New York now. When did you put the 2 together?
Well, growing up in LA, so to me, I think the first thing obviously was graffiti. Well, obviously, you know this because I was a writer for many, and that was the first thing that I mean, other than dancing, b-boying, that was the first thing that I was really into. And you said Beat Street, Wild Style, and Style Wars. Those 3 movies, I mean, almost entirely featured people from the Bronx, the writers, the rappers, the dancers, DJs, Rocksteady, everybody. Desi Dez with the 40-minute song, K Slay in it, to me, it was a graffiti connection, but you know what? Something I put together later, but still when I was a teen was the Wild Style soundtrack. The South Bronx, you know, the music to the interlude to the Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
and that's a South Bronx, not only in title, the song, but that's Casanova Fly rapping, Grandmaster Caz.
Yeah, one of the greatest
Yeah.
soundtracks ever, right there.
Woo! There it
That's,
is.
that's it right there. If you don't know about Wild Style, please go watch. Like I always say, like Fife said, not now, but right now. You got
So
it.
what? The number one. What's the first track? South Bronx Subway.
Nah, they got Military Cut,
No.
MC Battle, Basketball Throwdown, Fantastic Freaks at the Dixie, Subway Theme, Cold Crush
Subway
Brothers at the Dixie. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So watching those films, the soundtrack, and then of course, Criminal Minded comes back to that, and Critical Beatdown.
We gonna talk about all those laters, bro. This is
Yeah,
why
I know,
this is why I love the show, because when certain albums I think of, it was like Penny. If we talk about Critical Beatdown, we gotta get you in here.
Yeah, so it comes to those albums, and and forward DITC, etc.
Definitely. Yeah. What about you, good brother?
For me, I know I'm a little younger than everybody in the group, so my hip hop experience kind of, like I said, I caught it late because of a lot of things. So not to go into that whole spiel, but I think my first real experience, probably like I said 97, 98. I think Tasha said it was like Peter Guns and Lord Tariq. You know what I mean? So like when they set it on track, not necessarily like I'd always heard South Bronx by KRS-One. They played on mix shows. You couldn't escape New York City radio. They was playing that joint whenever. But I was young. You know what I mean? It didn't resonate like that. But it was at a time when it was like Joe and Pun started getting on the scene. Deep Cover was coming. You started hearing Pun's name. Pun was on the Beat Nuts record, and then Lord Tariq and Peter Guns hit us with the "If It Wasn't for the Bronx Rap Raps, probably wouldn't be going on." And that's when it all kind of connected to me. You know what I mean? I was probably like 16, 17, and that, always know that that's a very impressionable time for just being a teen. Also very impressionable as a teen in hip hop. You know what I mean? That's when you those are the times when you really start to grasp hip hop. You really start to understand how to listen to rap and how to listen, and you start to understand boroughs and neighborhoods and streets and avenues you're hearing all throughout people's music. You start to associate. You start to learn about different people's like experiences and their entire journey through hip hop. So that was when it was for me. Like I say, 97, 98, particularly with that song, because you literally couldn't go anywhere and not be in this city. Like How Many Sun was playing it everywhere. BT and MTV were playing the video. My only gripe with the video was they shot the video in Shea Stadium as opposed to Yankee Stadium.
They couldn't get the permits.
They couldn't get the permit.
My whole block is in that video. Literally, my whole fucking block is in that video.
So
me and Peter went to the same Boys and Girls Club, but niggas couldn't get the permits. Yankee Stadium wasn't with the shits.
They were not. Those were Steinbrenner days too.
Now tell me this, Tosh. How does that make you feel? Do they need to even do it in Shea Stadium, or do you do?
I'm gonna keep it
I know, like
up,
for instance, with Philly, we used to get mad all the time when the Roots wouldn't shoot their videos in Philly. You know what I mean? So
I feel you, but let me ask you this: do we not all still love A Bronx Tale, even though they shot it in Astoria?
I didn't fucking know that they shot in Astoria until this year. I just found out it was shot in Queens. I had no idea.
Real ones knew, and we weren't mad. The shit is a great movie. We moved on. Look, the video wasn't gonna look any different if they shot it in Yankee Stadium to keep it a buck. Honestly, they could have shot that shit on the block or in Crotona. It was gonna have this.
The thing about it, like the deep hip hop sports heads, they knew. I think the majority of people were just like into the song and the vibe of the video, so they might not have realized it at the time. But people who are into sports and into rap were like, "Yo, I couldn't shoot at the stadium." But then once you understand like and how New York City worked, and also like at the time, Yankees were winning. You know what I mean? And to associate that with hip hop at the time, and niggas talking all type of greasy shit on the record. I'm not sure if the Yankees were with that at the time. So I understood back then, but you know.
All right.
They're never with that.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Eddie, you're from Brooklyn. When did you put the two together
Yeah.
of the Bronx and hip hop?
Probably, I mean, I had pieces. I had pieces from the flicks, from the music. You know, my dad had records and stuff, but I think was the Criminal Minded record, you know, with South Bronx and The Bridge Is Over. I think those two, you know, because you know the response to MC Shan, you know, for what he said about Queens or whatnot, and how KRS One set him straight, you know, that put like no doubt about, you know, where hip hop started, you know, pretty much. So
All right, no doubt, no doubt. Tosh, we've talked about this before. I wonder if it's changed. Your top 5 MCs from the Bronx and why?
So my top 5. All right. So for one, not so much that it's changed, but like having time to sit and really rank them. Like all of my favorites aren't like really popular. Like one of my favorite MCs is Frank Rams, and he's not really well known, but he's by far better than half the people with a deal.
Right.
Like if it was on some like put him up against half these motherfuckers with a deal, I put my money on Rams, like my actual hard-earned money. I would back Rams and I wouldn't even fucking blink. Other than that, like I still love, you're like insane if you don't love Fred. I ride for Remy like I know her personally and I've only met her like twice. Who else? Shit, hold on. I know I wrote a list because I just you had me in my music bag real quick. Oh, Corey, forget it. I wish Corey could get out of his own way because he's incredibly fucking talented, but you know, he's his father's son, so you know,
right.
if he can get in his way, he's gonna get in his own way. I know it depends on, you know, where you stand, whether or not you consider Slick Rick from the Bronx or from across the pond, but I don't really think there's a debate on Rick. For me, he's a Bronx head, and just off of, you know, the fucking just off of shit I've seen like with my own 2 eyes alone, he was always going to be in my tops. I like Dragon. I wish we had gotten more from him. I feel like there was some untapped talent there. I mad recently, like right before X died, I like launched the investigation. Like, yo, where's Dragon? Like,
yo,
where's...
man, though, I can't keep him out, but he was on IG a while ago spitting some shit. Like, I mean,
Drag's still nice, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I felt like, yo, we deserve. Like, I thought we were gonna get so much more from him, and then we didn't. Like, if ever there's somebody that I feel like from my borough that really just we should have got more from is definitely Dragon. And that's probably it, really.
All right. For me, at number 5,
and my nigga Grizzy, hold the fuck on, because that shit Grizzy did with my motherfucking Yao, that is one of my favorite tracks, period. And I play that shit all the time. So we gonna give my man Grizzy Bro his fucking due.
Shout out to Grizzy Bro. Big shout out to Grizzy Bro. Big shout.
Now I'm done.
No doubt. My number 5 is courtesy of Yao. Me and Yao go back and forth all the time. He calls Guru trash. I think it's insanity on so many different levels. And one time, this is like Thanksgiving 3 years ago, and we're at apartment 5B, and he's like, yo, I can name 150 rappers better than Guru. And I'm like, yo, stop. Come on, bro, stop. This nigga literally named 150 rappers better than Guru. And I'm looking at the list, and I'm like, Fred the Godson? Who the fuck is Fred the Godson? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I was like, yo, he's nice. I'm like, bruh, his name is Fred the Godson? Are you joking with me? And yo, I press play, and yo, I've been a fan ever fucking since. R.I.P. Fred the Godson. He's
Rest
one
in peace to Fred the God, Gordo. Rest in peace to Gordo.
Yo, let me for people out there watching, Fred is a problem. Especially me as an MC lover, one of my favorite things is quotables. Times that you constantly gotta rewind. You are not gonna listen to a Fred bar and not rewind at least minimum 5 times. You're gonna rewind. Like, yo, what did he just say? Like, oh yeah, what was the joint he got when he said, something ESPN. I got your girl squirting in a Lexi in the ESPN.
I got your girl squirting in Lex in the ESPN. Come on, bro. Like,
yo. And I tell people this, it's a blessing. People have been sharing this with me on the timeline, and people take notes during this show. It's incredible. That's what I want this to be, an educational environment. Fred the Godson, just YouTube Fred the Godson Funk Flex. Just listen to that. And there are so many. I mean, I'm in the kitchen calling T. Come here, listen to this. Naomi, come downstairs right now and listen to what this nigga is saying. This fool just said, Michelle, there won't be no Michelles. He said something like Beyonce and Kelly, and there won't be no Michelle. Yo, it's literally too many bars. Fred is a monster. God bless the dead. That's my number 5. Number 4 is Lord Finesse, DITC, one of the dopest lyricists in my opinion. Number 3 is Big Pun. And the thing about Pun is I was never a big Pun fan, but I'm one of the few people on the planet Earth who I don't have to be a fan of you to give you your props and say that you're dope. It's like got nothing to do with it. And again, it's not that I thought he was whack. Pun extremely dope. I just wasn't a big fan. Number 2 is Slick Rick. Like you said, Tosh, to me, he's from the Bronx. One of the greatest debut albums ever with the greatest storytelling. I never understood why people didn't even feel the rules back. I like this album too. I mean, I had no beef with it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. And then number 1, KRS-One, like I've always said, BDP's Criminal Minded may literally be the album I played the most out of any album of any genre throughout my whole life. So that's KRS. Penny, what about you? Who are your top 5 MCs from the Boogie down?
So that's a wrinkle. I didn't have Rick down from the BX. I mean, I don't know. To me, is that okay? I mean, I might have to change this list. So,
hey, that's what you gotta do, bro. I mean, who'd you have though? Who'd you have?
Chris, right on top. No question about it. I mean, the way I did this, and I'm not gonna have to say something after each one. Maybe the last one. I got a list, right? I got about 50 MCs down, and my personal GOAT list. And I just went down that list and picked out the cats from the BX, and except the last one, and I'll explain. So Chris, Pun, Kool Keith, without question.
Yeah, a lot of y'all OGs love Kool Keith, man. I noticed that, yo.
Yo, we gonna go into that when we talk about albums, y'all.
We'll talk about it.
I'm dead
We'll
ass.
talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's the first futuristic alien. I understand. It's not for everybody. What I had Keith, okay, and then Finesse for sure. And last, to me, I'm gonna put Grandmaster Caz because
actually, and just so people know, put a pin in that real quick. People know that there's a section of this where I'm just paying respect to people from the Bronx. You know what I mean? Caz was just a little bit before my time. You know what I mean? So that's the only reason why he's not on my list. But please, break it down.
This is why I'm going to explain it, because he's before my time too. I mean, with the exception of the soundtrack we talked about, Fresh, Wild, Flying Bold, Coke Crush was. I remember that record. So yeah, it was before my time. I had to go back to those freestyles on YouTube But to me, just there's one song that we don't bring it up like that. But I mean, if you really want to talk about from the beginning of hip hop and what's known, Rapper's Delight is a Casanova Fly song. That's his song. He wrote it.
Right.
So, I mean, if you want to talk about the first fucking rap song that most motherfuckers heard, that's this dude. And I mean, I'll just say this. We commemorate inventors that invent dope shit all the time. Right? And forever. It could be one thing that they invented or, the great ones. And we do it properly. But I don't think we really do that in hip hop. And to me, I view it in this way. And that's what, and it's something that I apply when I'm, personally ranking an MC, right? I also look at the peaks that they reached, right? And the environment that they did it in. Because that means something,
That's fair.
Right.
Because I just said this the other day about Kane. The peaks that he reached, to me, I mean, it's like Everest. Cat's still dying climbing that with all the technology that you have. that's to me Kane peaks stand, right?
Yeah.
So the peaks that Casanova Fly reached, I mean, I didn't even know that was his song, and I was saying every word to it, just like a million other people. So I'm putting him on the last list. My honorable mention is OC though.
Ooh, that's a
Yo,
good.
I'm so fucking confused. Where the fuck is OC from? Because he's
He's
on
from
Brooklyn
there.
Dodgers. He's
I thought he was
he shouts out Queens. Now he's not from the Bronx.
I did not know OC to be from the Bronx. I listen.
Yeah, he's
I'm
on
almost
Brooklyn Dodgers.
telling you on my Bronx experience. So
My mistake.
Learn me something.
And my fault, Penny, is the only reason why I say that is because niggas from Queens be claiming OC, people from Brooklyn be claiming OC. I'm like,
Yo,
this
this could be a DITC thing that I'm doing in my mind.
Like, I don't think DITC was even really about the borough.
But DITC
the only exception was Big L.
Yeah, but I mean, but
I didn't know
OC
OC wasn't
not
from
the
so
Bronx.
I stand corrected, so forget my honorable mention.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good.
Moving on.
Well, it's funny because like what Kill was saying, like when we did the Queen show, someone mentioned OC, I believe. You know, on that one.
OC is one of those people. I think he
OC
just
is all borough.
OC just floats because my niggas from Queens was like, yo, back in the 90s, he be in the Queens Club screaming out Queens. And then Brooklyn dudes is like, nah, he on Crooklyn Dodgers.
Back in the day, that was the way to stay safe, though.
Right.
Look, to be fair, man, I identify, man. I'm a dude from the Middle East that grew up in LA and live in New York for 20 years. So I identify. Like, people don't know where the fuck I'm from.
But I think that's the thing. I think because even when O was on the show, I think he grew up in Brooklyn, but then he moved to Queens. And then he moved in next to Farrell and Prince Poe. And then that's how he got down with Fudge Pudge. So,
I don't know what my brain did on that one, man.
It's all good, bro. There's some MCs who we all forget where they from. Yeah, what's your top 5 MCs? I'm interested. You being an MC, I'm always intrigued what comes out of Yao's mouth when it comes to breaking MCs.
My number one is Pun. As far as you know how I feel about rappers and just the overall skill set, you know what I mean. And for Pun, also Pun also continued like as far if we're just talking about lyrical skill and being able to flip words and say words in pockets. There's not a lot of people that are better than Pun at that. You know what I mean. Pun also had the full package as an MC. He can hold melodies on records. He can if you want to go in the booth and just spit, he could do that. If you want to rap about girls, he could do that. You know, some gangster shit, he could do that. You want to do storytelling, he could do that. And also like Fireworks is going back.
Harlem is gonna Harlem, man.
They just gonna hold on. I mean, only on apartment 5B. Only on
apartment 5B do you get live fireworks 3 days before the 4th of July.
Live and direct. Also, as far as Pun is concerned, like Pun also after Big died, kind of carried on the big boy bravado, swaggy rap. He had it all. You know what I mean? Like he could slick talk to the chicks, and also like the Puerto Rican thing also was huge. You know what I'm saying? Like he repped hard.
Hey.
So I'm always gonna pick Pun number 1. Number 2 is Slick to me. Slick, I tell Kill all this time. I tell Kill this all the time. Like before I'm like did my first album, there was a couple albums I had to study before I decided to go do an actual project. It was Rock Campaign 4. I had to go study. I had to go study. I studied Big's Life and Death, and I studied Slick because I wanted to learn how to tell stories. And I feel like the Great Adventures of Slick Rick is one of the greatest albums I've ever heard in my life. Like I literally played that for like 3 weeks straight in my car. I used to be coming into work. People were like, yo, what you playing this old school shit for? And I was like, yo, just stay with me. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not banging with me right now, you're not banging with me. But I'm on this Slick wave right now, and it was speaking to me. A lot of the songs that Slick put on that album sound like they were made yesterday. If we're keeping it tall, you know what I mean? Like children's stories sound like it was made yesterday. That shit still resonates. You know what I mean? To this day, 35 years later, whatever. So, my number 3 is gonna be Joe.
Tell me this, y'all. Before you move forward, what would you say is the nugget you took away from Slick Rick? What's the nugget you studying that? What'd you take away from Rick?
When you tell stories, you always got to revert back to things that you said before and make them something. Like tell the whole story. Like I can't even get into it right now because I haven't thought of the bars. But if you just listen to children's story and how the story keeps evolving and you follow, you have to keep following the story. And it also just taught me to like trust the next line, trust the story, trust that it's going to be there. Because if you just look in succession, like, dope man, something who don't know the meaning of water, no soap. That's very vivid. You know what I mean? You got to give people pictures. You know what I mean? That's what I learned from Slick. You know what I mean? Like what's the lineup? Forget the lines, but what it is you have to be very vivid, and you also like when you're telling the story, revert back to things back in the story to give it more oomph, and then get to your final. You know what I mean? I learned a lot from that album, honestly. What's the other song that I love on that album?
The Moment I Feared.
It was The Moment I Feared. Like that's another one. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, there's so many gems that he gives. You know what I'm saying? So and obviously, Hey Young World is gonna be forever and ever one of the greatest rap songs of all time. My number 3 is Fat Joe. I don't think we can talk about the Bronx without talking about Fat Joe. As far as like sustained longevity. I know he went down to Miami. He was doing his thing like that. When you look at Joe, he's from the Bronx. You know what I mean? He carries it all the time, wherever he's at. You know the way he speaks, the swag, the sneakers. Like Joe is a Bronx nigga. I fuck with Joe heavy. Also, I think Joe's also one of the most improved MCs over time as well. I think he got progressively nicer, and even now, like the joint he got out right now. With Cool and Dre, it's the who cares when it feels like crack? That shit is, to me, that shit is an old school like rap vibe, and Joe still gives you that. It's been 20 some odd years of Joe giving us very, 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 very good records. You know what I mean? So I was always gonna give Joe his credit. 4, Fred. Niggas can't tell me nothing about my boy Gordo. Listen, man, look. If you want to talk about lyrical skill set with wordplay, with even like just pentameter, the way he says his bars. Sometimes the way he leaves the space in between to give you let you sit on the bar. There's one bar that I love from Fred that's so crazy when he says, yeah, I'm nice, I concur. With the mic, with the shot, I concur. I concur. Steve Kerr, Mike, like, bruh, like,
yo, I'm telling you, bruh, yo, Fred is a problem.
You know what I mean? I fuck with Fred heavy. What's the project that I love from Fred? God Level.
The last one he put out. Yeah, God Level. God Level was crazy.
God Level was crazy.
Tough.
God Level was crazy.
Grab that if you can. You know what I mean? Like, go take a listen to that.
Yo, Fred and the Heat Makers was magic to me.
Out, man. It got kind of upset because they had a little team. I won't say a little team, but with Jim and Fred with the Heat Makers, it was getting into something. Also,
bro, that Summer in the City off of El Capo.
Also, Fred got the joint album, the Gorilla Glue album with Joel Ortiz, which is too. You know what I mean? So, rest in peace to Fred, man. I just hate we lose our MC so soon. You know what I mean? It's just very. I mean, just look. I'm out of the 4 I already named, 2 of them are gone. You know what I mean? So it's difficult sometimes, but we gonna keep Fred's name alive and keep banging his joints. My number 5 is here's what I always want to give. My women MCs the credit. So I'm gonna go Remy. Even though I could go Chris there. I put Chris as an honorable mention with my other boys as well, but I'm gonna go Remy because Remy. Listen, if we're talking about females in hip hop, there haven't been many that have been better her in her era. You know what I mean? Like she's easily a top 10 female MC of all time. Like I don't think
she eats the big chicken in her house.
She does. You know what I mean? Like,
Tosh, this is why we're here. This is why we're here. Because I was just about to say, before we talk about Remy as a female MC, we can just talk about it as an MC. Like we don't even have to talk about it as a female MC. Because when anybody brings up Papoose around me, I'm like, he can't even eat the big piece of chicken in his own house. So
that's fact. If we're keeping it tall, like Remy, the thing, what she's done in her career, even her to bounce back from jail. Because listen, bouncing back from a jail sentence and coming back into music, it's not. I'm just talking about just from anything you take a long period of time away from. Like she's even I remember when she first came back, she just sounded so dated because she hadn't been in the mode of making music.
Until Nikki pissed her off, and that was all she needed.
She got back and and that's sometimes you need a little push. So
sometimes you need to be shoved.
You know what I mean? So I'm gonna give.
I mean, you talking about Rick. It's the same thing that happened to Rick when Rick did that jail time. It's like you said, it's a hard thing to bounce back from.
It's tough. It's tough.
And Remy did that.
You know what I mean? So those are I got some honorable mentions. I'm gonna throw Chris in there because you got to throw Chris in there. I'm gonna throw my man Grizzy Rowe in there because my man Grizzy Rowe is stupid nice. Another dude I know named S. Dinero who's stupid nice from the Bronx. Axel Leon, go check him out. He's stupid. He used to do a lot of songs with Fred too. And I'm gonna say, listen, for my young boy, I'm gonna give A Boogie his credit, bro. Like I'm gonna give A Boogie. You know what I mean? Like he
I like him. He don't do nothing for me. I do a two-step to that shit.
You know what I'm saying? As far as young boys, he makes really good like music, and it's not like it's stuff that I can listen to. I really like his last album. I mean, his first album, I should say. So, those are the ones I have.
No doubt. Eddie, who you got? Who your five, babe?
All right, I'm gonna go top down. So my number one spot got to be KRS-One. I mean, I feel like yes, the pioneers that came before KRS, they literally put the Bronx on the map. But as far as like, MCing and making a real big statement in hip hop, I feel like KRS-One and BDP really put the Bronx on the map. And they had the anthem South Bronx. You know what I mean? So got to be and his longevity.
The name of the crew was Boogie Down Productions. Like it was like Boogie Down Bronx. Like exactly. you can't put it on your back no better than that.
Yeah, and I saw him one time years ago when I was like in San Diego, a small club. A group that my wife and I were managing at the time. They were opening up, and I didn't know KRS-One was a headliner, and that show was crazy. I mean, just hit after hit after hit. He's one of them MCs. Like he could do a whole set. Like everything's a banger. Every single thing he's gonna perform is just absolutely crazy. Like you're going wild for it. So I mean, yeah, KRS-One. My number two, it got to be Slick Rick. I think with hip hop, as far as like whether he's from London or the Bronx, I think with hip hop, it got to be like, where'd you get your start as an MC? Where'd you make your name? And he made his name in the Bronx. Yeah, I mean, just renowned storyteller. A classic album. Came back with another very dope album. In the 90s, the art of storytelling. I always give him props for that because that's hard to do, especially a lot of MCs from that era. I mean, think about like when he first came out, doing them, singles with Dougie Fresh, all that. How much time passed before he dropped that art of storytelling album and, have Raekwon and Outkast on there and all that. So that was crazy. Big Pun is my number three. I think, got to represent my fellow Boricua, but he was just dope. I mean, yeah, his career was cut short. But I mean, skill wise, like, it's, you can't knock him, man. His skill rhyme, like Yao said it best. He basically like could get into any bag, and be perfectly comfortable on it. Like I wasn't a fan of that second album as much, and I think I think his health issues played a part. You know what I mean? No like question. You could tell his breathing and stuff like that. His breath control was a very big part of who he was as an MC, and I think that really affected him. So, you know what I mean. Number four, I'm going with Kool Keith. You know, I'm not as old as Killing Penny, man, but you know, when I heard that Critical Beatdown, I feel like Critical Beatdown alone puts him in there, like open, closed book.
I
Like,
gotta check this out, man. I have to
Yo,
check
I'm
this
telling
out.
you, we're about to go to Critical Beatdown in a minute. Me and Penny literally can give
Yeah.
you a whole dissertation on the
Yeah.
importance of Critical Beatdown
So,
in hip
so,
hop.
so I'm not going to harp on it as much because I know they're going to go into it. But one of the most incredible performance over a whole album, display of MCing. I mean, especially you got to look at the year where that album came out and what he was doing. Incredible.
So you gotta understand. So the reason why I laugh is because literally my first experience with Kool Keith, I saw him like it was a newer song when I was probably like
Right.
I don't know, maybe like 13, 14, somewhere like early teens, and I was just like, who is this nigga? And then I was like, the song was just like really, really, really weird to me. You know, I'm 13, 14 at this point. I'm listening to Jay, and I'm listening to, you know, I'm listening to Wu. I'm listening to Raekwon is out at this time. I'm listening to Cellar Dwellers, and I'm like, who the fuck is Kool fucking Keith? Like, get this nigga out of here. Like, I didn't, you know, I couldn't fathom. I just couldn't understand it.
And keep in mind, I'm not a big fan of Kool Keith, like the Dr. Octagon and the Black Elvis. Like,
so black. Okay, so that is what it is. Black Elvis. He had the fucking
the wig.
Right.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing.
I was like, yo,
but it goes back to
nigga.
But it goes back to what Eddie said. My love for Kool Keith is just off Critical Beatdown and probably Funk Your Head Up to 2 Ultra albums. Like, that's it. Like,
Right.
I don't know anything else he's done because you're right. That was some weird shit to me, and it just wasn't for me. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people who love it, but it just wasn't for me. It just didn't speak.
I'm so glad you said Black Elvis. I couldn't figure out what the look was, but as soon as I was like, the hair,
Elvis,
little roll up, little. Oh man.
And then my number 5, I gotta go with Fat Joe, cause you know, DITC, Fat Joe, Don Cartagena, still one of my favorite albums. Like what him and Pun did on that album, like crazy. I mean, Fat Joe had a hell of a run. You know, I don't check for him as much anymore, but you know, I feel like he put in that work. You know, so yeah, I gotta give him his flowers. And for my honorable mention, I didn't put them on my top 5 because they're a duo. And my honorable mention is Camp Low.
Camp Low, let's get it.
I can't separate them, yo.
Bruh. I'm not mad at that pick at all.
I support that.
I support very dope pick.
I support that.
Eddie,
very dope.
No lie, Eddie. I swear to you. I was like, do I put Camp Low on this? I was like,
very
dope.
Yeah.
I don't want to put a duo. Yo,
Right.
I
can't separate them, yo, because their
this album
chemistry
right
together
here,
is just
this
so
is a
incredible.
5 mic album to me.
Bruh,
That's
With
the one.
eyes
it's a
closed.
it's a
the
5
one.
album.
Easy with the eyes closed. These dudes.
That's great
oh my
Yelp
God.
review.
Oh
Five
man,
stars.
don't talk to me
Definitely
about up on
recommend.
Saturday.
Definitely recommend. Great Yelp
Dope,
review.
dope,
Saturday. Oh man.
dope, real dope pick on that one, Eddie.
That
And
was
And then the
a
joint with Pete Rock, what the 21 blocks to Tiffany's or whatever.
Yo, that would be a 5 mic album to me if it wasn't 108 songs on it. Like
Right.
they could have just shortened that down to about a good 14. Incredible album. A great pick, hey, great pick. All right, tell me this, Taj. Top 5 albums out the Bronx. What are your favorite albums from those MCs? If they're the same as the MCs you named, or what albums do you just love from the Bronx?
All right. Shamefully, and I say shamefully just because a part of me knows this album isn't that great.
Yeah, you know what she gonna say?
I don't know. I
He
don't know
has
where
no
she's
fucking
going.
idea. He has no idea. You know what? We'll just save that as an honorable mention.
No, we gotta wait now.
We'll say that. Capital Punishment, Pun's first album is a banger. It's not up for fucking discussion. It's a hill I'll fucking die on. The compilation album that Terror Squad gave us, not up for debate. Not up for debate.
Okay.
It's a fucking banger.
That's a dope one. Yeah,
That I'm
man.
willing to die on. Very obviously, like everybody else, Criminal Minded is really not like up for debate. The Great Adventures of Spirit, not up for debate. And even though everybody didn't love it as much as I did, I really did love the art of storytelling. I thought it was a bop. So I know everybody didn't fuck with it, but I did.
What's the Slick Rick joint?
Yeah, Slick Rick joint.
Yeah, I love that. I love that album.
I like it. I like
Yeah.
I feel like y'all know I'm not making this up. Some people don't fuck with it, but
right.
It was a thing for me.
Yeah.
I can't remember what's on anything commercial that this particular artist dropped, but like literally, you can give me any Corey mixtape, and I'm gonna put that shit in my top 5, and that's on period. The honorable mention. I really did fuck with Lord to get Peter Gunn's first album. It wasn't fucking amazing, but I fucked with it. You know?
I like it.
I got into a lot of arguments freshman year in college because motherfuckers was like, you only fuck with it because you know Peter, or you only fuck with it because you from the Bronx. I was like, it's actually good though. Like,
it's not a bad album.
Shit.
I thought it was solid. I thought it was solid.
What happens with a lot of times? What happens a lot of times is if it doesn't live up to that first single. And to me, it's the civilians who do that. And I call folk who aren't hip hop heads, who don't love the culture, they're civilians. The civilians don't love it because it may not live up to the top billing of that song, or the civilians may not love the artist storytelling because it wasn't the Great Adventures of Slick Rick. But you got to understand, I can't expect Rick to give me an album 20 some odd.
But this is the thing, and like because I'm a huge Jay-Z fan, I probably had this argument more than anybody in this room because I am a Jay-Z stan. Motherfuckers want you to be the same person you were like when you came out. Why do I want? I could have that album already. I don't need to hear that shit again. To quote Hova, loiterers should be arrested. Keep it fucking moving. Like if you're in a different place in your life, your bar should be different. If you a grown ass man with a family and you still spitting to me about being in the club and holding your dick in the hallway, my guy, I'm not gonna buy this album. I'm not. Because also I'm not that person anymore. I've grown. I expect that the artists have grown. So if we're not growing, tangentially, my money's staying in my pocket, respectfully.
Right. No. I figure I was just listening to King Disease, and I love when Nas says play the clue tapes for old verses. You know what I mean? If that's play the clue tape for old verses.
When Jay said you want my old shit, buy my old album. The content is already there.
But for me, just make whatever you make. If you want to stay in that same bag,
just let it be dope.
It's good.
Just let it be dope.
That's all I ask. You know what
a great example is Pusha T. He's probably the best he's ever been.
He's still selling drugs though, so I don't think that he's not talking about relevant shit.
Okay, but even people with more variety.
I'll give you another example. Jim Jones.
And I don't really fuck with Jimmy. Really funny because I was literally listening to Nocturnal today just because I like that track with him, Meek, and Fred. But I don't really fuck with Jimmy the rapper. I'm really into Jimmy the personality. I'm not really into Jimmy the rapper. I haven't been for a long time.
He wins the award for me, most improved rapper of all time.
I don't disagree. I don't think all time is aggressive, but definitely improved. Severely
I
improved.
said this on the timeline, and I got a lot of feedback that's like, come on, Kill, Jimmy ain't writing the bars. So is it most improved rapper or ghost written rapper?
Maybe it's most improved delivery. Maybe it's most improved delivery. I don't know.
Okay. Here's the thing. I didn't used to mess with
the reason why I say
when El Capo came out, I love El Capo.
Yeah. El Capo is crazy.
That's the thing. So let me ask you this. In 2004, did you think Jim Jones would be the best rapper in New York City at any point in life? Because he is. He is now.
Did you move? Yeah, did you move?
Listen.
Did you move?
Touche.
Okay, then. Oh, I just want to check the address.
Let me go a little further. So as far as rappers who are signed in the limelight, I mean, he's put out better projects than Fab. I don't count the OGs because the OG like Jay and Nas are on a different plateau. They're in their own lane. But as far as rappers,
like he's better than Jada.
He's put out better projects than Jada. No question. I'll stand on it. And listen, if we're keeping, and what I realized, and listen, this is no slight at Jada. I realized on Jada's birthday that Jadakiss is probably my like third or fourth favorite rapper of all time. I realized that because I didn't like as time went on, I didn't realize how many bars and how many verses I knew word for word from Kiss until his birthday, and I ran through like a lot of his catalog, and I was like, I know these. I went on a 2-mile run. I was rapping these shits like I hadn't heard them in like years. You know what I mean? So like, but
you feel like finished product, Jim has put out better work.
No question about it. To me, no question about it.
Okay.
No question.
And the great point is it's almost two totally different things because I'll take Styles over Jada because I think making a project, and I mean you always talk about is the difference between a playground and one nigga and a nigga who makes it in the league. You know what I mean? It's no knock on the and one niggas. These niggas can play. Yeah. But can you put that whole product, can you put all that talent together to go out here and
win games?
Yeah, and win games. You know what I mean? So big difference. All right. Shit. I don't even know, where did we leave off at? I just
we had albums right now. I think Tasha just did her albums.
I just gave y'all my 5, so I guess you like
it. To me, I got again Slick Rick, Great Adventures. Like everybody said, one of the greatest albums ever. I'm going with DITC, Runaway Slave, Showbiz and AG. One of my favorite, another one of my favorites. We're gonna keep it with DITC with Diamond D, Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop. Love this album to death. People don't talk about this album enough. Another 5 mic album to me. We'll go with Criminal Minded, top 10 fave hip hop album ever. But it all starts and begins with this shit right here. Ultramagnetic, Critical, Beatdown. This is how I met Penny, because it was just, I don't think I've ever met anybody in 47 years of walking this earth who loves this album as much as me and Penny do. Gal, Kool Keith literally is from the future. Bro, the way he was rhyming on this album, nobody, when people, and I get it, we got to give it. Here's my problem with hip hop and sometimes music, and I don't know about any other culture, but with black music, I feel like there's only room for one. So it's like we just give it to Rakim. Rakim is the one MC who changed the whole game, and that's not the right narrative because KRS, when KRS was kicking on Criminal Minded, nobody was rapping like that. What Kool Keith was doing on this, Penny, what is the joint? I got it like that. I want it like that. I have it like that. Nas sampled it for
you whack MCs
who go on the mic and blow on the mic. Nobody, there was not a human being on the planet Earth rapping like Kool Keith at this time when this dropped in 88, but the single started in 86. Funky. I mean, give the drummer some. Like the way he was rhyming was just futuristic, like, and it wasn't a Black Elvis like futuristic weirdo type shit. It was futuristic, crazy like this, Kool Keith co-housing things. There's so much stuff on this album.
As an MC, the way he was putting sentences together, right? It wasn't never done at the time, right?
Okay. It was Carrie. I just downloaded it. I'm gonna tap in because this is only so listen, me. Killer and I always do this. When I tell Killer, like, you got to go tap in, he tap in. Like,
but this is what I would say, y'all. This is why I started telling my young boys, listen to some other hip hop from that era first. Like, just don't tap in. Like, you can't come in from just listening to a new album that you can't come in from listening to J. Cole and then go straight into Ultra. I'm just saying.
For me, I listen to Rakim and I listen to Kane, like, and I listen.
Right, but I'm just saying, sprinkle some other stuff around first, like before you just dive in. Like the year was 88. It's kind of like throw in some other Sash. Throw in some
Run DMC and play radio,
and then go into Ultra, and then you'll be able to kind of get in that mindset of this dude was really ahead of his fucking time. Like Penny, I tag off to you, my partner. What's your top 5? I know Critical's in there, so.
Shit, we got the same 5, man.
Oh, well, there you go. We
got the same 5. Because I didn't, like I said earlier, I wasn't thinking right about Rick. So I'm gonna take my 5th and make that the honorable mention. It's Criminal Minded, Critical, Beatdown, Stump, Blunts, and Hip Hop, Runaway Slave, and of course Great Adventures. Honorable mention by all means necessary and Return of the Boom Bap. I think I consider that a Bronx album. One thing, okay, going back to critical beatdown. Yeah, dude came out dissing Run DMC in a song, like unheard of.
And his
Talking
record,
about that
I
they
didn't know that until he
he
told
said
me
they
that.
rhyme like
I didn't know
babies.
until he told me.
He said they
I had
rhyme
no
like
idea
babies.
until Penny told me.
They use the simple back and forth, the same old rhythm that the baby can pick up and rhyme right rhythm, dude. And the beginning of that song is Peter Piper. Say what? The hell with childish rhymes.
No, that's
man.
OD. Nah, that's
Had
OD.
no idea.
That's OD.
You know what else he said on that album? He took a little slight shot at Rakim. He had a couple of bars and it just rhymed perfectly, and he said like fish, which ain't my favorite dish.
And that's OD. Yeah, you
No.
are. He's wild.
The dude was just going at everybody, and nobody.
But no, what it
ever
really was is like Tosh said, that was the Bronx energy. It was like,
I'm
yo,
tell
I
you
don't
right
care if
now,
it's
Black Air Force Ones were invented in the Bronx, okay? On a hot day with no AC. You need to fucking know that.
You want to talk about footwear? Look, LA, all right? LA. This is off the second album. No, Papa Large was big, right?
Papa Large. That was crazy. Papa Large was
Man,
crazy.
you had cats in LA with 40 Belows Tims and the goggles and the welding goggles and shit. I swear to God, man, the dude touched off something, not in the underground, but even wider. I think to me, he laid a ground, not necessarily a tree that you can look down to, right? But he laid a ground for somebody like Doom. He laid a ground for somebody to be like, you know what? I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want on this fucking record. I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want and whatever style I want because I think this shit is dope. And nobody was doing that. There was a certain cadence people were doing. Kane and G-Rap came and people were going real fast and they try to emulate them. You had Special Ed come in and Slick Rick, and you had some whimsical stuff. You had all that stuff, but you didn't really have that dude. And then De La comes, right? When you look at their debut, this shit is out there. I swear to God, I don't remember the interview, but Paz talked about hearing critical beatdown and how that shit blew their mind. So I'm talking about it touched off people that we look at as the people who touched off other people that we admire. You know what I mean?
It's a nucleus.
And just the whole style.
Yeah, like you said, Tosh, it's the nucleus of it. And like you said, Penny, great point, because Doom is cut from that tree. If we really look at MCs, there's so many MCs that get cut from the tree of another MC, of it just being like, oh shit, I didn't know I could rhyme like that.
The tree of life is in the Bronx.
I concur.
Yeah, man.
There's no hip hop without. And this is why I said, and we're going to go into why it's controversial when I talk about the Bronx being the most important borough, because everybody's like Brooklyn.
There's nothing controversial about it. The city. Here's the thing: New York is an ethnicity. No, it's a nationality, and your borough is your ethnicity. Everybody clutches to their ethnicity. That's it. They don't want to acknowledge anything else. So even though we all know unequivocally, without the Bronx, half these motherfuckers would be unemployed and dropping the fries at McDonald's where they barely have any other gifts off the wall as, they're still gonna act like, yo, but Biggie, yo, but Nas, yo, but the Wu. Cool, my guy. But without everything else that came, it's like they think they can build the fucking penthouse without building the basement. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't skip the steps.
You need a foundation.
Can't skip the steps.
Nah, that again, this is why I needed you, Tosh. This is why I need the Bronx energy. Yeah, who's your top 5 albums? What's your top 5 albums?
Great Adventures of Slick Rick is number 1 to me. That thing, man.
Boys and girls, everybody watching, because we're blessed that we have viewers, and I sometimes forget it's just not the 5 of us talking. You've heard it from everybody up here, Slick Rick. You know what I mean? You've heard it from everybody. You got to go do your homework on Slick Rick. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just to give people just to an overview. Like, I'm younger than everybody else, so when
we're of age.
When
seasoned.
When Great Adventures came out, I was like 7, 8 maybe. So I didn't even listen to it in full until I was like a grown ass adult, probably like 26, 27. So like you gotta understand when I listening to this album 20 years after it came out and for it to sound so timeless to me, like treat it like a prostitute is like the first record on the joint. The first one. It's like that's how you start. That's how you start this thing off. You're like, oh, damn, that's aggressive, right? Right. You know what I mean? But like I said, for me, I've always loved storytelling rap. Always loved just the poetic. I've always been intrigued by it. It's the reason why I do it. I've always been intrigued by how you are able to tell a story in rhyme, like line after line, and keep the same theme going, or even just keep the story going to make it to. And a lot of these stories are just very relatable if you listen to them. So yeah. I'm going Greatest Adventures.
He writes like a screenwriter. His raps are like a sitcom. Yeah. You can visualize everything you're hearing. Yep. And that's what gives you.
And he gives you the visual.
Yeah, I touched on this though. You're like he has a structure to the story.
Yeah,
exactly. Starting off, when I was sitting on my lunch break, then like it's on to the next thing, and then he's on here, and then the middle of the story, and then you right. Oh, and then boom, you're right at the end.
Remember, it's so funny you say that. It's so funny you say that, Tosh, because I'm saying it's just like you said. It's like a script. It's almost like how you were taught. It's almost like how you were taught to write papers in college and in high school. It's like it's the intro.
Like it always starts off with.
You said you finished the pilot.
Yeah, I just finished my first pilot. So when y'all was talking about the way
you write,
So when y'all
we gotta talk offline. We gotta talk offline. Then.
So when y'all was talking about the way
you casting this,
album,
we gotta talk offline.
Oh, okay.
Penny's an accomplished actor. Like, we gotta connect the dots. We gotta connect the dots.
We definitely gotta connect offline. But when y'all was talking about the way that album affected him, as a lyricist, and just the way the story was presented, and how it brings you back to this part of the script, and or back to this part of the bar, and how it, you can visualize it. I was like, this is exactly like a framed script. It's exactly like a framed script. Like fade in. He introduces the characters. He sets the scene. He gives us the dialogue. He ties it all back in. He wraps it up and fade out.
Yeah.
And he always like they always say, like, when you start out a story, you always want to give people like what you're doing, where, and when. You know what I mean? It's always like it's once upon a time, not long ago, like that. Right. Automatically, you're like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
That's what Slick does. You know what I mean? Like all through that album. So I mean, MCs, I know you're far removed, but if you want to do a history lesson. It's a good
seriously.
Number 2 is Capital Punishment. One of the most well-rounded albums you'll ever hear. Lyrics, joints about girls. The singles were big. Let's not forget about that. I don't want to be a player no more. I don't want to be a player no more. Is a record that still gets played to this day.
What's that joint with Norman? You came up.
Bro, you came up, bro. And it's funny because. Niggas was talking about that song. Like you could probably put Nori could play that song in the verses if he wanted to, and he's only on the hook. You know what I mean? Like, but that's how good the song is.
But it goes.
He's good.
It goes. I'm not a player. I don't want to be a player no more. Then you got
the Super Lyrical with Thought.
Lyrical. Then you got the joint with Mob. Even the interlude, packing them back in the back of the act. Then the joint with Miss Jones. Come back to me. Woo! Listen, y'all don't know. Listen, come on. Y'all don't know.
It's a solid fucking album.
Yeah, it was a dope album.
I'm always gonna give Criminal Minded this credit just because of the OGs. And actually, a little known fact, my uncle was a reggae artist in the early '90s, and KRS was managing him for a little bit. So that's why I'm always. My uncle was always playing 9mm. Oh, bang, always. Like that was his shit. Always playing that shit in the crib. So I'm gonna give it up to that. Don Cartagena, Eddie mentioned that earlier. That's my 4th album. Like Don Cartagena was one of my favorite albums. It's a very well-rounded album. Pun was all over in there. And listen, like I said, Joe's gonna give you a lot of raps, but he also gave you the features too. You know what I mean? Like Cuban Links and the Terror Squad album, he gave them opportunity to shine on the album too, and they delivered too. So I go down Jam. And because Kill put the album cover up, I changed my fifth one. I'm going Uptown Saturday Night for my fifth joint, bro. This is a no order, but bro, I bang with that album so fire. Keep it a buck. If it's the second album I bought my own money. The first album I ever bought my own money was Redman Muddy Waters. The second album was Uptown Saturday Night. I remember. I was damn near. My CD player was done after 6 months playing the album so much. Dead ass. You know what I mean? Like, obviously the big single. You know what I mean? Lucchini is a record that's yo dog. If you watch the Phoenix Suns games, they play Lucchini like 2 or 3 times every game now to this day. Like right now, you know what I mean? Lucchini is one of the greatest singles.
I always tell people, if I'm with you and you don't get hyped when Lucchini come on you the fence, right, I don't trust you. Like, I don't trust you.
You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice when that song come on. You don't have a choice. You gotta rock with it. And even the history behind that beat, the fact that like Jay wanted it and Ski was like, nah, that's for Camp Low. Can you like just the Jay-Z was like wanted the beat and he was like that. It could have been a whole different thing. And for me, I'm glad it didn't happen because I'm not sure the way Camp floated on that shit. This shit was like tailor made for them. You know what I mean? So I'm really happy as to how it turned out. It's that's also a very memorable hip hop like impressionable, memorable hip hop moment for me in hip hop because I was just like I said, 15, 16. You know, it was one of the biggest songs on the radio at the time when we heard it. It was in the top 10. I was in boarding school at that time. We used to listen to Power 99. They had the Power 9 at 9 or whatever it was. And bro, for like easy like 10 weeks, it was always like the top 3 every week. You know what I mean? So those are my 5.
I feel you. Eddie, what you got for your top 5, bro?
All right. I got to start with Criminal Minded, just iconic. Great Adventures of Slick Rick. I feel like those 2 are right up there where they should be. Critical Beatdown. I mean, I don't have to belabor the point. Kill and Penny broke it down, like crazy album. Uptown Saturday Night. Y'all said it all about that album. That album's just a vibe, man. And, Kichi Suede and Sonny Chiba, like they're back and forth, like incredible, absolutely. And I'm kind of back and forth for my last 2, but I might go with Capital Punishment on this one. Like it's a little bit bloated to me, but just remembering, like I like a lot on that album, like it got a lot of skits and all that stuff. Like if it was, album. Yeah, absolutely. If it was about like 15, 16 tracks, it would be perfect.
All right, no doubt.
That was that era though. Remember, everybody used to do interludes and skits. I mean, Diddy was gonna give you a whole fucking telenovela on every album.
Yeah, and that's
that's some. Well, real quick though, something that we haven't really. I mean, that Yao covered Pun so well, but the comedy, man, the dude was so funny. This fucking guy, man. I mean, just the story. I mean, even when you hear Nori talk about stories, anybody telling stories about Pun, that shit is hysterical.
Yeah.
But
another thing about
the comedy in his writing
is the stories of how many guns this nigga owned. Like, like I'm just hearing the stories of just
allegedly
about him walking the No. This is the
Prodigy story.
Hold on, Tosh.
Prodigy story is crazy.
About Pun. He said, they were meeting before a show, told Prodigy, come to the crib. Come chill with the crib. Come to the crib before we go to the show. Said he walked in the crib, there's about 20, 25 niggas in there. Everybody dressed in all black in Pun crib. Pun said, P, nigga right next to you, he got a burn. That nigga over there, he got a burn. And went around the room and was like, we all strapped. Like, Pun.
And then he told P, let me see your gun.
Let me see. He said, P, let me see your gun. I forgot about that.
And P talking about, I left mine in the car.
Yo, when Nori
You know what?
said,
I'm not even going to talk about God bless the dead. I'm not even going to go into
Real quick, though.
Leave me alone, bro.
I'm gonna leave him alone. I'm gonna leave him alone.
Real quick though, Nori said he went to visit him when he was in the fat farm. You know, when people go to like lose weight in a particular and you made him take him to a fast food joint,
KFC.
Yo, man, I'll stop right there. But
yeah, pun is definitely a legend for me. Quick timeout on the play. Just want to give respect, Grandmaster Flash. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Cool Herc, Africa Bam, the three pillars of hip hop, 1520 Cedric Ave. You know, the first hip hop house party. You know what I mean? Melly Mel, Kaz, CeeLo Rock, It's Yours, one of my favorite songs of all time. R.I.P. Tim Dog, who was down with Ultramagnetic, who had Fuck Compton, you know what I mean? And Penicillin on Wax. So, you know, and there's so many other Funky 4+1 more. It's just so much of what, like Ty said, the foundation. You can't build the penthouse without the foundation. The Bronx is the foundation. There's no way we could do a show and there's not somehow, some way that we don't talk about Flash, Herc, Bam, what they did for the culture and everything like that. So just wanted to salute them. Now, it's been plenty of times on here when we try to figure shit out. Me and Penny were able to figure out why don't albums like Strictly Business, Ultramax, Critical Beatdown, Business Going Off, why don't they get heralded as classic albums? From our conversation, we were able to figure out it's because we were living in the 12-inch era. So we were getting 5 and 6 12-inches before the album even came out. So by the time the album came out, we damn near heard already 70-80% of it. So that may be the reason. What happened with the Bronx post-90? Like, it was like the Bronx just took a break and just like Brooklyn every day it was always another MC. Turn on Rap City. Oh, Black Moon. Here now we got Smith and Wesson. Now we got, AZ. And then with Queens.
We did them a favor. It's called fucking philanthropy. It's called philanthropy. That's what happened. We took a break. We gave these bastards an opportunity. We're glad they used it well. We're glad they used it well. And that's what the fuck it is.
Oh my gosh, she just said philanthropy.
It's called goodwill.
Yo, how did you meet Tosh, man?
Yo, let me tell you something.
Our mutual
I'm gonna tell you the first time I met Tosh. So low key, the first time I met Tosh, we didn't even speak like that. She came to so me and Tosh go back because her best friend, I went to school with her best friend, and her best friend's fiance is actually one of my best friends in the world as well. So there's that. But I actually met her the first time. She came to Oswego.
When I came to Oswego?
She was standing by the computer in the Union just being mad loud. I said, "What's up?" Kept it moving. I'm not even sure she remembers this. The next time I saw her was years later. Years later, we were at a barbecue at the same park, but it wasn't a barbecue.
But it was Mr. Queen's.
Mr. Peter barbecue, yes.
Yeah.
And mad jokes the whole day. I didn't know who she was, but I just said mad loud, mad jokes. It started raining, and she screams out, "Man down," and just starts booking it for the building. And I bust out laughing. I will never forget that. I was just like, yo, what is wrong with this girl? Yo, what's wrong with her? Man down, mad loud. And starts running to the building. I'm like, yo, who is this girl?
Yo,
I'm just sitting here bugging off of philanthropy.
In my case, I am actually a runner. So
yeah, you are. Started just booked it, ain't say nothing. Like, man, I mean, it was a literal downpour that came down. She was like,
I'm just still stuck on philanthropy.
Yeah, bruh.
That's where this is how I'm like, where did you even meet her at? Philanthropy.
Bruh, this is a regular occurrence. Listen,
on the daily, right?
If she lived here, where she lived, I have so many stories.
Listen, when I lived in New York, forget it.
I got so many stories, yo. So many stories. Her mom, like I said, Kill, you have to meet her mom. It will make all the sense in the world, I promise.
All right. Yeah, what do you think? Why do you think the BX just went silent for almost 10 years?
You know what? Sometimes there's really no explanation behind it. It's kind of how the wave goes to me. I mean, I don't know. I can't. I mean, they had French, and also, I just feel like they might have fallen wayside of just the whole era going away from lyricism. You know what I mean? Because there's always been lyricists in the Bronx, but like the most notable rapper recently from the Bronx is probably, if we're saying French Montana, and he's not really an MC to me like that. And then like A Boogie. So I don't think there's necessarily an explanation for it. I think it's how it goes by the wayside. Because if you dig deep, you can find the lyricists that are in the Bronx. Like I just mentioned, actually, my man S. De Niro is nice. Grizzly Road. There's plenty of rappers in the
people
Bronx.
People don't even give Corey his props. Like, and I think Corey's a monster.
To y'all's point, like that's just like think about what the 90s was, right? The 90s was fucking Diddy, niggas in fucking plastic suits and everything was flashy. We had fucking Hype Williams with mad asses and blingy lights. Like it was get on TRL. It was really a lot of
late 90s
trying to well, I mean we definitely had the late nights uncut, but I mean like just mainstream shit. A lot of rappers were trying to cross over and kind of be pop. And I'm not mad at nobody because that's where the bread was at. But nobody was really trying to make you think with no fucking bars. They were trying to give you some catchy shit, some shit you could repeat, some shit that the crowd could repeat, some shit that the white kids in motherfucking Lancaster, Pennsylvania who sneak out because they ain't really got no fucking electricity, but they sneak out down the road to that one bar and they all watch shit. Like, they wanted those motherfuckers to be able to rap the song, get into it. Remember, rap is an aspiration fucking culture, right? Like, they want you to aspire to that shit. So rapping regular shit that we live in every day, stop being the bread and butter. And it started getting into this, make these motherfuckers want to live my life. Okay, well, I'm out in Miami with big booty bitches. I'm driving the fucking drop top backwards, fucking dancing in the fucking water with mermaids. All that shit that got super glamorized. And that's just not what Bronx rap has ever been. And if you think about it, it still isn't. Like with the exception of French, and that's because that's the Diddy touch.
Right. What you think, Eddie?
Yeah, I mean, I think that honestly, like I think it's been like that for New York in general. If I'm keeping it 100, like I think the Bronx kind of got hit the most, or one of the most, because the boroughs are known for different things, and if you're the Bronx and you're known for lyricism, and lyricism is not being as appreciated, then yeah. But I mean, I think someone like Fred the Godson, who was still young, still up and coming, promising, like him being taken from us that early, like it really hurt, because I mean, I feel like he was just getting started. You know what I mean?
Right.
He was definitely just getting started.
Right. What about you, Penny? Any thoughts on the Bronx not really put out as many MCs in the 90s?
I tried thinking about it. Because it's true, I was trying to think, like, you have the whole pioneer era, right? Pretty much locked down. And you did have people who took up for those people. They fell in their right place. I think another thing people don't account for is how, I mean, Queens and Brooklyn are big places, like gigantic places. A lot of neighborhoods that generate a lot of rappers.
That's a fact for a lot of reasons.
Great point. The volume.
I was just about to say that's a great point, Penny. How big? Like, what are the sizes? Like, is the Bronx?
The Bronx is the smallest borough.
Way smaller.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think the Bronx is small. It might be smaller than Staten Island if we're keeping it.
It's the smallest borough. It is the smallest borough.
So, and Queens has the most people. And I think Brooklyn is the biggest in like size as far as like just overall size.
That's a great point, Penny.
Yeah,
and the Bronx, like get into the Bronx if you're from Brooklyn or any of the other boroughs. It feels like you're going to the boondocks. Yeah, it's like that's a trek.
Yeah.
What got me thinking about that is Eddie, like growing up in LA, people don't understand how big LA is.
Right.
It's
right.
like immense. So I think I've already thought in that line, like when people try to talk about different rappers from different areas and stuff. So I think that definitely has a lot to do with it, man. Just the plain geography of shit and how many people is there. So, because I mean, I want to say there were, like I mentioned, DITC earlier. I mean, they're not, they're early '90s, right? But definitely made their name. And I'm going to drop a name that maybe not a lot of people know, but if they follow me, I'm sure they've seen me post his songs. Milano Constantine is not from the Bronx, right? But he works with Showbiz all the time.
Okay.
And they have an album together that dropped earlier this year. That's dope as hell. And he's like the next DITC. I mean, even though he's been around for a long time, he's an older dude. I think he's maybe around our age even. Maybe not that old, but you know what I'm saying.
Right. I know what you're saying.
So I think that definitely has to do with it. I mean, there were Just Ice. We can't forget about that. There were some people there other than Chris, But Chris, to me, I mean, when we talk about what happened with Queens, it was all Chris. It was just him. Like, you had different people from Juice Crew diss him. Not too many, but, Poet, for example, or what have you. People not even from Juice Crew. But it was really just Chris. But when you try to think about who carried the torch, it's hard for me to really say after that. So I think I got to fall back on the size and just the fact that they did kind of fall off as far as how many people come out.
As far as how many,
not as many as they used to. But I think
I think the other thing too is with something that Yao said about, well, really something that everybody has said. I'm just looking at this is that by the time that we're in the 90s, it's now all about, now labels know what they want from MCs. So in the early 80s, they didn't know what they wanted. It was just like, yo, we're going to sign you, do what you do. By the 90s, they kind of knew. By we get into the mid 90s, late 90s, it was all about whatever was selling. So for a while, Philly was selling. For a while, Philly couldn't catch a break. I remember going to Morgan in 92, and in 92 in Philadelphia, the mindset was you can't get on here in Philly. You got to go to New York. By the time I graduated in 97, niggas from Baltimore was moving Philly to get on because it had now started. You saw, Swiss came and got Cassidy. Then Major Figures got on. Then Jay came down and just signed all of Philadelphia. And then it was an Atlanta thing. And then when Eminem came out, then it was like, oh, we need a white guy. We had to get Bubba Sparks. Right. So at the end of the day, that's a great point that everybody's making is that I just think, and Penny, your point too, back to DITC, they held down the Bronx. Because while everybody's talking, I'm like, okay, well, what was it with Brooklyn?
I love Ness. Ness is one of my favorite producers. DITC is a hill I will always fucking die on forever.
Right.
Oh, just to piggyback on that and also giving props to the pioneers, somebody who I always hear about, like, I'm a fiend for the interviews from the legends, right? So whether it's Diamond D or Showbiz and AG, everybody from DITC or Fat Joe talk about Jazzy J. Mm-hmm. That's where Diamond really honed his skills.
When he was when he was carrying records. Yeah.
When he was Masters of Ceremony.
Right.
Diamond
D. But
D.
I mean, I think the DITC
J, so flowers to him.
Is big because I'm thinking, you figure back to Brooklyn, everybody's putting on somebody. Black Moon gets on, they put on Smith & Wesson, they put on Helter Skelter, now you got the Boot Camp Click, the Wu-Tang, everybody's putting on their crews. So truth be told, they had DITC. The Bronx was represented because they had DITC. The only people Staten had was the Wu, as far as the crew.
Fucking needed though.
Yeah, but I mean, Yao Snobby will tell you. I mean, Staten, no diss, but they're not really counted in the boroughs.
We don't count them, respectfully, but we count the Wu. So it's like the 4 boroughs, semicolon Wu-Tang.
And Wu.
Right. Right. But I mean, even people, because it felt like the Bronx got bypassed by the labels for upstate New York. Because now you're going to Yonkers. Because now you sign X. Now you got the Locks.
The thing with Yonkers and Mount Vernon is they just kind of always been the North Bronx to most people. Like,
I mean, it's right. It's right there. It's literally right there.
Like, I spent way too many of my youthful hours in fucking slow on projects. I'm an adult now. I can say it. I was outside, yo.
Right.
Okay. I fucking heard the Locks rap long before the Locks had a fucking deal. Also, I knew DMX was crazy long before I knew who the fuck DMX was. I had never actually seen him, but whenever I would be around, motherfuckers would be like, yo, long story short, niggas start moving, just start moving. Heard you. Heard you.
Right.
Let's see.
Right.
So, I mean, and like that whole, like that Heavy D, like that whole Mount Vernon, like all that shit was just one. Like Uptown was just one thing. Like it was a long time before Harlem and the Bronx considered themselves as Uptown as one unit. It was more so like the Bronx, Mount Vernon, Yonkers was one set, and then it was like Harlem, and then you know what I'm saying, and then it was like the other boroughs and shit like that. It was a long time before Harlem and the Bronx really started fucking with each other on some where the Uptown conglomerate type of shit. We used to fuck with each other, and I'm gonna tell you right now, if I get into an argument with somebody from Harlem today, I don't fuck with them. I'm gonna drag them, and then as long as it's, you know, somebody from the outside borough, then I got their back. They like my country.
It's the same thing. We be at Morgan State, niggas wouldn't speak to each other. We go to another school and we see each other. And there's a problem. We good. I
went to Stanford for a semester. I know the energy.
Right. So there you go. So truth be told, I mean, DITC, you got everybody, Buck Wild, Showbiz, AG, Fat Joe, Lord Finesse, Fat Joe brings on puns. So truth be told, the Bronx was represented. You know what I'm saying? I think just there wasn't that one person. You know how when you look at Brooklyn, you see Jay or you see Big or you think Queens, you see Nas. I just don't think the BX had, well, I guess they had Pun.
Right, and Pun got taken too soon, you know what I mean?
So soon. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Didn't get to see that.
Because it's I think what you're talking about is more so commercial success than anything else. Because the talent was there, but they were just commercially much more successful. But if Pun had lived longer, very clearly that trajectory would have been.
Right. Nah, that's a great point. That's a great point. All right, Snobby. Play tour guide. I come to the Bronx. My wife is from Harlem, 116th and St. Nick. I go up to the Bronx to check out one of your infamous barbecues that I got to get to because now I'm salty. Now I'm salty because I see Yao's face. I'm like, I'm not in NY this weekend. When we come up there, where am I going to go shopping? Where do you go get your kicks from? For everybody out there, this is not a sneakerhead. This is a sneaker connoisseur. And there's a difference. I was
about to say, let the people know.
There's a difference between the two.
Really funny story real quick. Yeah, tell a story about Adina questioning me.
So Adina, shout out to Adina against once again, another lane. Shout out to another lane. Adina calls me. She's like, yo, yeah, I'm doing this little piece on women with sneakers. Do you know any dope chicks with kicks? And I was like, yeah, sure. I can reach out to somebody and see what's up. So I called Tosh. I said, yo, Tosh, my homegirl Dina she's doing a shoot. Where you gonna be at in the city? She's like, yo, I'll be in the city this week. I could probably do it so at the time. I said, okay, cool. I was like, yo, so bring your joints, bring some sneakers. You know, she was like, yeah, who you talking to? And I was like, you right, cool.
Respectfully.
So then I called Dina. I'm like, oh, Dina, like, yo, Tasha's down to do it. I'm gonna give her information. Here's her IG page, so on and so forth. She said, cool. So I sent her information, and on Tasha's page, so Tasha has her regular page, she has her lawyer page, and she's got a couple pages, and she also has like her sneaker page. So, but I sent her the one I'm familiar with, which is her regular page, right? So I sent Dina that, and she goes, yeah, are you sure this is the girl? Because all I see is high heels. And I was like, yo, she has those two if you need. She's got everything. I promise you, she's got everything. And then so fast forward to the shoot. Tasha walks in with a couple slappers, you know what I mean? A couple joints. She got some stupid dope ones on her feet, and she got those in her hand. And Dina goes, yeah, I kind of questioned Yao on you, and I realized, yeah, this is gonna be perfect. He
was like, my bad, sis. I was like, oh, we good.
And then Dina texted me. She was like, so I think I just found a new drinking buddy. I was like, are y'all serious? You ain't been together for 2 hours. Like all of a sudden, y'all want to get shots.
Get into the shits.
Yo, so all that to say, this is a sneaker connoisseur. Okay, so where will you send me to go get some kicks in the Bronx?
Okay, so first thing you need to know is that shit ain't like it used to be, right? So we used to have like Jew-Man on Simpson, Jew-Man on Burnside, Jew-Man on Fordham. We ain't got none of that shit no more. even a lot of like the
Explain
smaller
to people what Jew man is. Explain to people what
So, Jew man is literally the Jewish man
the
that
Jew
owns
man,
the
right.
store. Literally, he's Jew man. He first of all, minorities didn't own shit. We barely own anything now. Jewish people own New York City, like they still own, a lot of it. And they own sneaker stores. And if you wanted to get some shit, that's where you went, especially if you want to get them early, which is how I always got my sneakers. If you wanted to get them early, you didn't have to wait on like a VIM, because back then VIM had heat. Now VIM don't got shit. But you didn't have to wait for like a release date. You could just go to Jew Man and you gave him an extra $50 to send them shit to you early, right? So we don't have none of that shit anymore. And even the smaller stores, I've noticed over the last couple of years, really they starting to get on some raffle shit too. And as much as it burns me because I don't like the raffle life, I understand because I've seen more than one fucking brawl in front of a Dr. J's, in front of a Modell's, in front of a Foot Locker. And if we're going to be fucking physically assaulting each other over sneakers, then I get it. I get why we've taken the precautions that we've taken, right? I'm not aloof to why we have moved away from that. That being said, I know some people. Find yourself in the borough. I can take you to my man Jallo. There's a spot next door to Jallo on Tremont Avenue. They got shit. They always got shit. Low key, they're never out of shit. There's this store. It used to be called Jeans Plus. I don't know what they call the shit now, but it hasn't moved. They just changed the name. They are right on the corner of East Tremont and Crotona. They always have shit. They get every fucking drop. It used to be where I went every Friday. But then, you move on and apps dropped and you just start getting shit shipped to your house. But they still get shit in the store. So they still got everything. Also, if you can't find beef and broccolis for the right price, because motherfuckers is trying to rape you now on the beefs, which is just absurd. I mean, ridiculous.
How much?
Oh, they be doing like an extra 50 on everything. But I still get my beef and broccolis for under $100 because I got kid feet.
Oh well, yeah.
Yeah, but I've gone to other places where they tried to hit me for like 150. Bruh, I wear 6.5. Fight me. Like, see me outside with these things.
140 for beef and Brock Timberlands?
Yeah.
That's bugged out.
And kid size at that.
It's aggressive. So that's what I'm saying. They still carry them regular price. Actually, they carry the full line of Timberland, but it's the Bronx, so you probably can get those anywhere. There's a store on Fordham that still carries everything. It's like right when you get past the concourse. I don't know the name of it. Honestly, I don't even think this shit has a name. If I'm keeping it a stack with y'all, it's just there. Real talk, it's just fucking there. And it's like once you come over the concourse, it's like across from the bank, and it's just there. But they got everything in it. Everything in it. And quiet as kept. If you catch the right person, they will sell you some shit early. They will sell you some shit early. I don't know who else is really moving anything like that in the Bronx anymore since shit has changed, but I mean, there's still some places. I mean, worst case scenario, y'all can holler at me. I charge a small fee, but I can commandeer your kicks.
All right, no doubt. We connoisseur. All right, I gotta go somewhere to get my beard shaped up. Where you go?
Supreme Clientele, no question. You're going to see Ron. Supreme Clientele.
Now, hey, be advised. Be advised. Period.
Now you're gonna be there all fucking day. You can't have anything else to do.
Yeah. you go be in there. You gonna be in there all fucking day.
But you will get a drink. You can buy some drinks. You can buy some shots. You can buy a television.
You know what I mean? Corey Guns might walk in there. You know what I'm saying? You never know what might happen in there.
City gets their haircut there. DJ Jazzy Joyce gets her haircut there. They take Black Ink there. You'll probably be a guest on that episode, depending on the fucking day you walk in.
What's the name of this shop?
Supreme Clientele.
It's in the Bronx.
It's in the Bronx. It's on East Tremont Avenue. It's I can't think of the number, but it's right.
I have legendary stories about waiting for Ron. I have a legendary.
What's the longest you've ever waited
for Ron?
All day.
The last time I went to Ron was 4 years ago, and It was a goose chase. He told me to meet him. He told me meet him.
Don't tell. This ain't ATL. This ain't ATL joint like that.
No. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. I know what episode you're talking about. It wasn't like that. But he told me to meet him at the shop at 10:30. I get there 10:20. He hits me. He's like, "Yo, I got to my grandfather somewhere." I said, well, "For real? All right." He said, "I'll be there at 12." Yo, I look up. I fell asleep in the car. It's 1:15. He's pulling up to the spot. I went across the street, got a slice of pizza. I was chilling. You know what I mean? I'm in the car. I had the beats going. You know, I was a little roasted. You know what I mean? Had the beats going. Dozed off. I wake up. It's 1:15. Well, this is.
I'll tell you something. When you got in there, bad people probably was like, "I was waiting, right?" When you got in there,
I get there. I walk in. He's like, "Yo," dude is walking in behind him. He's like, "Yo, I'm gonna cut him first. I'm gonna take care of you after." I said, "This nigga." But
you know what I learned? You know how you get a cut quick?
How?
Come with my mother.
Oh no. That's see.
She's the only person that doesn't wait.
Yeah, she never waits.
She skips the line.
She never waits. But for what it's worth, yeah. Listen, your cut gonna be fresh. Here's a dude who comes from Philadelphia every 2 weeks to get his haircut. Yeah.
Wow.
And listen, Philly.
I was about to say, who comes from Philly to the Bronx? Because Philly,
it's what it's known for. Philly's known for it.
Bronx good.
But this dude for like at least 10, 12 years, he comes to the Bronx every 2 weeks.
All right. So I got that. Where do I gotta eat? What spot I can't leave the Bronx without
everywhere?
Getting from where?
Everywhere. We got mad food, yo. We don't have anything else. We have fucking food everywhere. If you want some Spanish food, you go see my man Roy on Truman and Cortona. Go to the Caridad under the fucking Fordham train station on the 4 line, because that shit slaps. That shit slap way different. If you want some diner food, Royal Coach on Gun Hill, Land and Sea in Riverdale, good pizza. Honestly, you could throw a dart at that shit. My preferences are Nick's on 180th.
Nick's is good money.
Yo, Nick's is mad good money.
Can they just nod their head? She's like, Nick's, yep.
Nick's is good money. Nick's is good money. Nick's, Last Pizzeria in Riverdale. If you trying to get on some, this neo wave shit everybody's on, Bronx Brewery is lit. Yes, Gun Hill Brewery is also lit. Bistro is a fucking bop for brunch, but you gotta be there early, or you gotta have a reservation.
So Bistro is it's a hip hop like brunch spot. Like they play like
literally like
that's what it is. You know what I mean?
It's this with fucking chicken and waffles.
It's like they playing all 90s and 80s music in there, like but like dope hip hop. You know what I mean? And you drinking and you brunching. You know what I mean? Having a good old time. So it's definitely.
But you gotta get there early because it's a small spot and it is always packed. Like the last time I was there, we didn't even have enough seats and nobody gave a fuck. Niggas was like, "That's cool. Just give me my plate. I don't even give a fuck because I'm not leaving. Like I'm committed to the fucking experience, so I don't care." So Bistro is definitely a spot. Chinese food, believe it or not, my favorite Chinese restaurant in the Bronx is in Little Italy. It is on Arthur. It's on Arthur, and it's right on Arthur Avenue. It is amazing, and it's the only Chinese spot in Little Italy. So I'm pretty sure the triads and mob have really come together to give us everything we fucking need. Because we got great Italian food down the block, great Chinese food right here. Like you can't fucking go wrong.
Triad at the mount.
Right.
Yo, that's real shit. What else we got? I don't know.
Jamaican, you got it. Jamaican.
The Yardies. Listen, if you want a good patty, you want a really good patty, you go to the patty shop. It's on 226 in White Plains. It's across the street from Granby's Funeral Home. You know how I found it? At one of many funerals. It's the Bronx. Let's not pretend, okay? Listen. That shit slaps, yo. It slaps when motherfuckers start doing that long-winded shit. Slide out the back pew, take it across the street. Get set. By the time you're done, they're still going. You're now nourished, and you can enjoy the second half of this shit. You're ready to go by the time you circle the body. Listen, I'm just giving you the keys to succeed up north. I'm giving you the keys.
Yo, slide out the back pew when they get long-winded. Slide out the back pew.
Listen, that's not false. That's not false.
I've done it. I'm telling you, it saved my life on more than one occasion. But like, you really can't go wrong with a West Indian spot uptown. Honestly, even the one right here by Supreme, the one on Tremont, they're really good. I mean, on brand with West Indian spots, they don't ever have shit, but when they do,
on brand,
it's fucking stellar. I actually really, really like them, and I didn't think I would.
Tell me this, Stash. How has gentrification hit the Bronx? Has it?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? It's like a fucking $1 billion to live in the South Bronx, even though you can completely still get shot and stabbed in the South Bronx. They put up this really nice green building. I want to say now it's been up there maybe over a decade. It was like the first gentrified building that they put in the South Bronx. You can see it if you're on the 2 and the 5 train, like as you're coming out of 3rd Ave going into Jackson, or vice versa. And it's beautiful. It's got like greenery on the top. It's got a greenhouse. It's got like all the solar shit. It's a lovely, lovely building, but it's an 80-20 building. So only 20% of that building is affordable housing, and 80% of it is those bullshit income guidelines that New York City uses to basically price out anybody who doesn't live in the 1% of Wall Street. So it's crazy. And so they just slowly but surely gentrified like the hub, even though once you get off the train at 3rd Avenue, it is jam-packed with crackheads and dope fiends because all of the rehab centers are right there also. It's fucking insane. So gentrification is on and popping. They definitely started doing my area. Me and my mom's in construction, and we were walking around like literally just 2 days ago, pointing out all the brand new buildings that they've thrown up, that they pretty much priced people out of, and also didn't use union labor, but that's a whole other thing because my mom is super union. But to the point, yeah, it's happening. It's happening very swiftly, and it's only going to run up the homeless numbers. But, you know, I won't hop in my lawyer policy bag tonight.
All right. Tell me this. What is the first, when you think about the Bronx, what's the first thing that comes to mind for you?
Me.
All right.
Me.
I'm not mad at that because from the first time I met you, you screamed Bronx. Like it.
Everybody that knows me, anybody that's ever met me, literally, if you ask them the Bronx, the first thing that comes out their mouth is, "Yo, my homegirl Tasha." Well, I feel the same way. Right. Yo, my homegirl Tasha.
Right. Now it's funny because, like I said, we've done all the boroughs. And it was like I gotta do the Bronx. And the first thing I was like, I gotta get snobby. Like it wasn't even a thought.
Exhibit A.
Like, yeah, it was like I gotta get snobby on the show, and that's why I reached out. Like, yo, you busy? Like I can't. And if you were busy, then we wouldn't have done this show about the Bronx this week. It just would have waited until your schedule freed up. You know what I mean? So I definitely feel that. Yeah. What about you? When you hear the Bronx, what do you think about? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
My boys, man. So I went to high school in outside of Philly. I'll tell you this all the time. But when I got to college, the majority of my friends are all from the Bronx, man. So I couldn't even escape it. You know what I mean? Like, three of my four of my really close friends from college are from the Bronx. So that's the first thing I think. Just hanging out with them on, hanging out on Tremont and on Webster and in Gun Hill and Co-op City and going to Bashments and. The Bronx has always been I can't tell the story about my life without talking about the Bronx and people from the Bronx. So Bronx for me, it's my friends. You know what I mean? Like Tasha. I mean, if you're friends with Tasha and somebody says you, Tasha has to be one of the first things that come up. I remember we were in Ghana and Tasha was coming to the crib, and the Ubers are a little funny, as far as trying to get directions and stuff like that. So there's a gate to come into the complex, and they let him off at the gate, and the dude asked Tasha, it was mad dark, like it's like 9 o'clock,
pitch black.
pitch black. And dude was like, "Yo, you gonna walk? Like you want me to help? You want to help you out? I'll walk you to where you're going." It's the dude at the gate, and Tasha kindly turns to him and says, "Sir, I'm good. I am from the Bronx. I'm okay."
Yo,
everywhere she goes, she's gonna let you know where she's from. No question about it.
To me, there's no
the crack era. I'm alright, yo.
and Tosh, the thing about that, and what's so dope about that is because I feel the same way. If something happens with Philly, people like kill cheesesteaks, kill where I go, like Ben Simmons, kill. Like it's just certain things that, and there's no doper feeling in that. Like if there's a fucked up haircut, people gonna be like, kill. What's good with this haircut?
Right.
You know, so. Definitely a dope feeling. Eddie, when you think of the Bronx, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Damn, man. Probably the music. To be honest, like all the years growing up in New York, I left when I was 18. I spent no time in the Bronx. I think the one time I was ever in the Bronx was because my mom used to take classes at a college in the Bronx, and driving with my dad to take her there. That was it.
Okay.
You know, like growing up in Brooklyn, it was always like, yeah, stay away from the Bronx. You don't want to get, you know what I mean? You don't want to go to Bronx, you know, you're going to get your shit effed up. Like, just stay in your area, like, chill. You know what I mean? So, I never, you know, I don't know if it was a regret or not. I mean, I didn't know nobody in the Bronx either, so I didn't really have a reason to be there. And,
to me, the Bronx is like one of them places, like in Philly, it's Germantown, like or Southwest. Like, if there's no reason to go there, why would you go there? You know, what is the point of going? Because when you get robbed, the first question is going to be like...
But in New York, every borough
exactly.
like that. Like, I didn't start going to Brooklyn until I went to high school in Birchwood, and my high school was at the Brooklyn Bridge, so all of my friends were from Brooklyn. Before that, I wasn't really going past like 34th Street. Like, for what? I have everything I need from 34th Street up. I don't know y'all motherfuckers. I'm not going down there. And we heard the same thing. Like, if you go to Brooklyn, fucking rob you, and they do. For the record, that is the truth. You're going to get robbed. And it's like that on any block. Like, well, any block back then. Like, you don't just show up on people's block unknown.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, because even within Brooklyn, like the different neighborhoods, like, and they know you're not from there. Like, everyone like carries themselves different, got a whole different style. The styles are different, all that, you know, so they're gonna spot you. They're gonna spot you. You don't belong there, and you're gonna get pressed. So yeah.
Right. All right. Here, Penny, what about you? When you think about the Bronx, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Even like Eddie said, it would be the music. But like if I was to like describe like the first initial thought, it would be like, you know, 3 or 4 images, you know, and it'd be like probably Cool Herc, Crazy Legs, and Case 2. I don't know.
Right. And for me, it's just hip hop. When I think of the Bronx, I just think hip hop. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think my childhood, because even though I stayed in Brooklyn, I always wanted to go to the Bronx. You know what I mean? Like, that was it. Like, it was like, I want to go. Like, when I would go to Brooklyn every year from like 1st grade to 8th grade, it was get a subway map and circle places where I heard rappers talk about Farmers Boulevard with LL. You know what I mean? Hollis would run, you know, South Bronx. And my aunt would be like, where you want to go, Statue of Liberty? I'm like, nah, nigga, I want to go to South Bronx. I want to go where they shoot B Street at. That's where I want to go. Where's the train station when Lee was battling? That was my tourism of New York City, was taking me to the Sbarro's from Crush Group on All You Can Eat. Like, that's where I want to go, and everything like that. Real quick, one of the series that I'm so excited that my daughter loves is called The Get Down. It's on Netflix. It talks about the history of hip hop in the Bronx, and I mean, she loves it. It warms my heart. She watches The Get Down the way I used to watch Beat Street. She can't get enough of it. So for people who can't kind of piece things together, The Get Down, an amazing show. Funny story. I live in Waldorf, Maryland. I'm in the barbershop one day, and I see somebody walk in, and it looks like Chi Ali. It's fucking Chi Ali.
Let me tell you something. That story never ends any other way. I have obviously, because I'm from here, I've seen Charlie 1,000,001 fucking times. But every fucking time it started like, yo, that looked like that is Chia. It never ends any other way. I've heard this story from 1,000,000 people. It always ends with that is.
And I'm just like, nigga, what the fuck are you doing in Waldorf, Maryland. Like, yo, what?
He's
Like,
outside.
I'm not in District Heights. I'm not in Silver Spring. I'm in
Chiali's
Waldorf,
outside.
Maryland. You know what I mean? So just want to shout him out. He has a book out, Another Kind of Freedom. You know what I mean? That talks all about. Chiali has one of the stories that I've always been interested in, and I want to read this book. The only problem is the words are mad small. I'm like, bro, like I'm 47. Like I need a magnifying glass to read this book. But I've always wondered about him. How did he get down with the whole native tongues and after the whole shooting and jail and just everything like that and being on the run and America's Most Wanted and all that. So just wanted to shout him out. Right. Like that was, you talk about some hip hop shit. Like this is, yo, when nigga killed somebody and went on the run, was literally on America's Most Wanted. Like, I remember seeing the episode in college, like, oh shit, it's Chiali. Like, this is a crazy story, and I want to read this book. It's just the text is so damn small. But definitely want to shout him out. Yeah, you was about to say something?
So I actually had Chiali's album listed for my fifth one until you had put up the Uptown Saturday Night.
Right.
Well, Eddie mentioned it, and I think you had put the album cover up. So Chiali is one of the, you know, he's one of the first rappers I ever knew when I was younger. You know what I mean? Like I used to fuck with Chiali heavy back in the day.
Yeah, he had joints. I mean, AJ nothing Funky Lemonade, the Roadrunner
Lemonade,
remix.
man.
Yeah, there was some bangers. There was some
Beats
bangers.
Nuts laced him on that album.
Yeah.
And an Easter egg, man. I love that little intro he did on the Black Sheep album.
Yeah, the funny thing is I always thought he was like Drez's little brother because he looked just like Drez.
Yeah.
So I just always thought they were brothers or whatever. Yeah.
Real quick.
What you gonna say, Penny?
Yeah, about the Bronx. I mean, I moved to New York in 2004, right? But I came out here in like 96, I think. It must have been 96 or 97. And my boy had moved after high school. He moved back. He was from White Plains, but he moved back and was living in the Bronx. I came out and we went to Fordham, and he took me to his CD dude, and he had the illest mixtapes, man. I don't know how many mixtapes I got from over there. And so Fordham Road hasn't come up, so I wanted to shout it out.
It came up. I brought it up with the sneakers.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, nah, you good. You can never skip Fordham.
I just wanted to shout it out. Yeah.
I will say something that
man.
you brought up, Penny. Something that you brought up that we didn't really touch on. Like the fucking graffiti used to be amazing, like amazing, and I missed it for a long time. And so very recently, I say like over the last probably 5 to 7 years, they started allowing for murals again. And so like yesterday when I went on my run before I got rained on, I ran into two of my favorite murals. One is at the Simpson train station on the 2 and the 5, and it says "I love the Bronx," and it's got just like a bunch of Bronx shit inside the words. It's really, really dope. And then the other one is right past the Interville train station, and it's this big mural of Big Pun, and of course the Puerto Rican flag. So I love that they are bringing art back to New York, and we've got murals like all over the place now. So it's kind of giving that feel again, like we used to have when we used to have like really good graffiti artists.
That's dope.
Yo, you know what's crazy is I was talking to someone about this the other day, was how back in the days, like they used to hate like the cities and all that. They used to hate the graffiti, right? They did anything they could to get rid of it, and that was the good shit. And now businesses are paying people to do murals, and most of the time, well, I won't say most of the time, but half the time, it's not even as good as what you would have gotten. You know, it was more organic. You know what I mean? So it's crazy.
And also,
they didn't even know what they had, yo.
That's a fact. They never do, though. They never do.
Also, got shout out These Zamero, one of my favorite shows on Showtime.
Love them.
There's no way in the world I can think about the Bronx and not think about both of them, because they are just like you, Tosh. They represent the BX.
Man, I love how they blew up, man.
I love them on Showtime.
I used to listen to that podcast, man. I mean, I swear to God. I mean, long time ago.
I love how it took off. I love it.
These motherfuckers really came along. Yeah, they blew up.
I fucked with them before they were, on Showtime also.
I remember them on beating the Bodega Boys. So,
exactly. I love this for them. I love it. I love
Tosh, give them everything. Where can they get at you? Where can they follow you? Where, what kind of law do you practice? Give us everything, because you're a woman of many talents. So
Practice the law that pays. That's first off.
There you go.
No, but predominantly I'm a business attorney. I do little entertainment law. I'm definitely a tax attorney. You can find me at Lessington_law on Instagram. You can find my honestly, just go to my regular page. I Am Snobby will take you everywhere you need to go. It'll take you to Chicks with Kicks, which is my sneaker page. It'll take you to Snobby Fit, which is my wellness page. I really am a runner. I wasn't being funny.
Marathon, like she got medals. You know what I mean? Like,
it'll take you to.
I run marathons too.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah. We're all glad that fucking racing is back, but that's another story for another. I'm training for one now. You can find my law page there. You can find, what else do I have there? I'm sure there's something. Black Girl SOS, Girl with the Y, Not with an I, my podcast. I am available on all of your favorite platforms. Check me out. It is uncandid. The whole concept of the podcast is just Black women unlearning shit that never served them and showing up for us the way we show up for everybody else. Definitely follow that page, tap in, do a lot of conversations on like Clubhouse and on live, a lot of unfiltered shit, a lot of local politics, really trying to educate our people about the importance of local politics, the importance of voting, how to pool your vote, just the shit we really need to know if we're trying to move the dial forward. So check me out, and I am on Twitter if you're looking for fuck shit at Snobby Girl, because that's where I'm doing all my fuck shit content.
No doubt. Eddie, give them everything, man. Where can they find you at?
All right. On Twitter at EddieD80. I'm on Instagram, Freestyles, and my website, freestyles.com. I got a new review out now. So, if you watch this, I've talked about my website, but I'll say it for the new, my website Freestyles. It's all about independent artists. You know what I mean? I try to link up with independent artists. Post and promote their stuff. Sometimes I do reviews, sometimes I do videos. So the latest is an album called "We Owe the World" by a Philly MC named Del P. Very dope album. It actually dropped on Juneteenth. Basically, you talk about uplifting his city. Talk about the problems of the city and how to fix them and how to uplift the people. So even though it's about Philly, but it could apply to wherever you at. You know what I mean? So very dope album. You could check out my review. And yeah, man, I'm gonna have more content out. So if you're an independent artist, you think you got something dope, man, hit me up. Hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Instagram. You know what I mean? Like when something really speaks to me, like I'm gonna move on it. You know what I mean? So if you got something dope, you know what I mean, and I'm inspired by it, then I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna write about it, So hit me up.
All right. Penny, accomplished actor. Tell them where they can catch you on some of your movies, what you're working on, where they can see you, everything.
What can they see me on? I'm sure some movies that come on Here and Now with Common. I'm in that with Sarah Jessica Parker. If they watch Nashville, they see me. You see that.
Yeah, no doubt.
No doubt. I'm
actually
working on my own shit. I'll tell you more about it when there's more to it.
All right, no doubt. Well, where can I get at you? Did you give them the
Penny_butter?
Right.
Twitter.
No doubt,
That's it.
Doubt. Y'all G's, one of the dopest MCs walking the planet Earth. Where can they get at you? Where can they buy your album?
Yeah, y'all was so humble, man. I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
You know what it is, y'all? This is what I realize is folk we don't do. We don't salute each other. We stop telling people we're proud of each other. Like, you graduate college, that's the last time you will hear I'm proud. Relate. And I'm like, well, that's good. That's good. Because most people, that's one of the things I'm trying to change. I tell grown folk I'm proud of them. They looking at me like I'm on crack. I'm like, bro, like, you're doing great things. Like, if we don't support each other, who will? Like, you know what I mean? So
I appreciate
you can see that.
If we don't support each other, if we don't tell each other, but you tell a random person who may not be in your circle you proud of them, they gonna look at you like you, like what? Like, I ain't heard that in years. But I just love to see people winning. Like, I don't know anything else, but I just love to see my people winning. So yeah, let them know where they can get at you, good brother.
Oh man, Yao G's music, YAWGEEZ music. That's on Twitter and IG. That's where I do the bulk of my social media. I have logged onto a TikTok. I've got one TikTok up there.
It's, with you and Candace, that's hilarious.
And wifey, which is hilarious. Go check that out. There's a new season of Rapping with G's. I kind of took the template of my man Kill here and been interviewing people on IG Live. There's a season 2 of Rapping with G's coming. We start next week. My first guest will be Deron Powell, who was on the show. What's the name of that show, babe? What's the name of that show? The show that was on HBO, huh? He was on Lovecraft. He actually was casted in Lovecraft for about 5 or 6 episodes. I went to high school with him, so I'm gonna interview him week 1, and then we got some other guests coming up later on next month. Working on music, we got some new joints coming out. Hoping to put out a Hump Day 2 project later this year. We'll see.
Please do.
And yeah, we're just gonna keep this thing rolling. There's some more TV stuff coming up as well. I got some things coming up with Big Ten. I got some things coming up with CBS and some other things on the horizon as well. So be on the lookout, man. We always working. Always.
I think my favorite thing of yours is the voiceover for God, Sham God. So I think that's my favorite piece. Somebody
just mentioned that to me, and Tasha's here too. Somebody just mentioned that to me the other day. Like, yo, I was watching this YouTube clip. I know dudes know me for like 10 years. 10 years, hoop fan, whatever. And he's like, yo, I was watching this YouTube clip, and I'm like, yo, this voice sounds familiar. He was like, I can't figure out who it is. And he was like, it sounds like Yao. That ain't Yao. And as he's watching, at the end, my name pops up, and he started bugging out, like, get the fuck out of here. So people it's just good that I have the content out and people are recognizable. And I'm always thankful that people are able to, like, you know, say what's up and say thank you for you know what I mean, just be appreciative. So I'm always
all that shit, man. All that NBA shit is so fire, man. That Kobe, that Mamba, man. Y'all.
Thank you.
No, I mean,
listen. People know how I feel about Kobe, man. You know what I mean? Kobe Bean, like my boy. So you know, I try to do things that I can identify with, that I can kind of like touch. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I did the Knicks piece. I did the Lakers piece. I banged with LeBron.
That was dope.
You know what I mean? So you know, I try to do things that are pretty genuine. You know what I mean? At least the content we put out ourselves. Now, if you're paying me, hey, I'll do whatever you want. You know what I mean? But
you're killing it, man. You're killing it.
I was appreciative of the quality way you handled the HBCUs. You know, I'm a rattler, and I take being an HBCU alum very seriously.
I appreciate that was tough for me, because I always tell people the one thing I've always been not envious of, but like one of my only regrets in life is not going to an HBCU.
Yeah, that's envy. Same shit.
And when I oh boy, Lord. Woo! Sunday gonna be crazy. You ain't come through Sunday. Hey, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, but I'm sober. I haven't had a drink in like 3 days, yo.
It's gonna be crazy till you come through. Yeah. I listen, like whatever. But aside from all that,
you did a great job with it. You did a great. Yeah, obviously, you know, I love the sham work, but you did a great job with the HBCUs.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate it. Good looking out. So yeah, like I said, more work to come. We always work. We always trying to keep pushing the culture forward. So you know, that's
and that Back to the Basement album, fire.
Yo, go listen, man. Hey, Eddie, I don't think a lot of folks haven't really tapped into the album like they should, which is fine because honestly, it's way different from anything that I've ever put out. Yeah. But this is where, like, Back to the Basement is actually how I started rapping. You know what I mean? That's like I wanted to get back into that bag and just like, yo, I can really deliver. You know what I mean? And I think people are not used to that from me, so it's kind of like, oh, you just rap. But like, if you dive in, there's some.
Oh man, no, there's some stuff in there.
Not to my own horn, but
you don't disappoint. You don't disappoint. So
heavy bar work on the album. So go tap in if y'all will.
It's a dope album, yeah.
Oh wait, before we leave, I do have to give one more piece of food an honorable mention. Actually, it deserves all the things, but it's just no longer with us. So R.I.P. to Sin City. But the fucking food in Sin City, I know y'all came for the ass, but baby, stay for the wing.
Yo, listen,
the food was on another level. On another level.
I think I walked in there. I had a chicken Alfredo, chicken garlic Alfredo, something they had in there, and I was like,
everything.
Whoa, this is outstanding.
So they had a mean lunch special during the week. I mean, just
like
Chef's kiss.
top tier strip club food. Top
I'll
tier.
meet y'all after dinner.
Top tier. Top tier.
Yo, gotta love it. You gotta love it. And you already know this would be Kill 889 Twitter, IG. Me and Vegas got out our new EP, Willmatic. It's all about his cousin Ill Will out of Queensbridge. Produced by yours truly. Yeah, and that's it. Tosh, I appreciate you chopping it up with us, being a tour guide, making us laugh. Again, get at her kicks, lawyer stuff, and but make sure you got that bag. This ain't no free law advice over here.
Oh no, TT's expensive, baby.
Hey, yo, not for nothing. I went to I hit that to go off tangent. I hit Tasha like, yo, I need some advice real quick. She said, "This is your first and last one.
Everybody gets one. Use it wisely.
Last one." I said,
No pro bono.
"Cool." I said, "Cool."
Yeah.
I get it.
Hey, there's only one big joke in the deck. You only running that shit once.
That's it.
That's it.
First and last one.
Yeah, we ain't running this back. All right, y'all. I'll check y'all out next week, y'all.
Be good, y'all.
Peace.